Today's title: How to Stop Seeking Validation from People Who Can't Give It. You already know exactly who I'm talking about. There's someone in your life, maybe a parent, a friend, a partner, an ex, and no matter what you accomplish, no matter how hard you try, that approval never fully comes. And the most painful part, you keep going back. You keep trying. You keep hoping that this time will be different. Today, we're going to talk about why that happens, what it's actually costing you, and more importantly, how to genuinely stop seeking validation from people who simply do not have the capacity to give it. But first, let's be brutally honest about something. The reason this is so hard isn't because you're weak, it's because your brain is wired for this. Human beings are fundamentally social creatures. From the time you were born, your survival literally depended on receiving approval from caregivers. That need for connection and recognition got coded deep into your nervous system. So when someone important to you withholds that validation, it doesn't just sting emotionally, it triggers something primal. Your brain reads it as a threat. And here's where it gets complicated. The people you most desperately want validation from are often the people least equipped to give it. Think about that for a second. Why would you chase approval specifically from someone who consistently disappoints you in this way? The answer is conditioning. When you grew up around someone emotionally unavailable, your nervous system normalized the cycle of chasing and being denied. That familiar pattern, as painful as it is, actually feels like home. So, what happens is this: you achieve something incredible. You immediately think about showing that specific person. They respond with criticism, indifference, or they minimize your accomplishment entirely. You feel crushed. You work even harder, trying to finally crack through. The cycle repeats. Meanwhile, someone else in your life who genuinely celebrates you gets almost none of your attention because their approval doesn't scratch that itch. It feels too easy. This is called the validation trap, and it operates almost entirely below your conscious awareness. You're not being irrational. You're running an old program that made sense at some point in your life, but is now actively sabotaging you. So, how do you actually break this pattern? Not theoretically, practically. Step one is radical acceptance. And I don't mean that in a passive way. Radical acceptance means genuinely internalizing this truth. Some people are emotionally limited. Their inability to validate you is not a reflection of your worth, it is a reflection of their capacity. A colorblind person cannot describe a sunset accurately. That's not a moral failure on their part, it's a limitation. When you stop expecting a colorblind person to see color, you free yourself from a cruel and pointless frustration. Ask yourself honestly: has this person ever consistently shown up for you emotionally? Has their pattern ever truly changed? If the answer is no, you are not dealing with a temporary situation. You are dealing with a permanent limitation. And once you accept that, you can stop investing emotional energy into an account that will never pay out. Step two is identifying what you're actually looking for. Validation from others is almost always a substitute for something deeper. Usually it's self worth. When you don't have a solid internal foundation of self respect and self trust, external validation fills that gap temporarily. But it's like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. It provides momentary relief while making the underlying need worse. Start asking yourself after achievements: how do I actually feel about what I did? Not how does it look to others? Not what will they say? What do you genuinely think? Building the habit of self evaluation is how you begin constructing that internal foundation. It's uncomfortable at first because many people have almost no practice doing this. They've outsourced their self assessment their entire lives. Step three is grief, and this one people skip because it's painful. Part of breaking this cycle means acknowledging the loss. You are grieving the relationship you wish you had, the parent who cheered for you, the friend who celebrated you without jealousy, the partner who saw your effort. That relationship may never exist with this specific person, and that grief is real and valid. Let yourself feel it instead of converting it into more striving. more hustling, more attempts to finally earn what should have been freely given. Step four is redirecting intentionally. Start paying real attention to the people in your life who do show up for you. This sounds obvious, but when you're deep in the validation trap, you genuinely discount these people. Their approval doesn't register the same way because you haven't practiced receiving it. Practice. When someone celebrates you, stay in that moment. Resist the urge to deflect or minimize. Say thank you and actually let it land. And step five is building what I call proof of self. This means creating a personal record of your own competence and character that you return to when the old pull toward external validation shows up. Write down your decisions that you're proud of, your moments of integrity, the times you kept a promise to yourself. You're essentially building a relationship with yourself that can withstand the absence of external approval. Here's the bigger picture I want you to sit with. The version of you that is constantly seeking validation from unavailable people is exhausting. That person is running on a hamster wheel that goes nowhere. And you have probably already sensed this on some level, which is why you're here watching this right now. The shift happens when you decide, not once, but repeatedly, that your sense of worth is not something another person gets to hand you. It was never supposed to work that way. The people who seem the most grounded and secure you've ever met, they're not more loved by the world. They've simply stopped outsourcing their self perception. That's available to you too, not through a single revelation, but through the daily practice of choosing yourself, grieving what wasn't given, and investing your energy into connections and habits that actually fill you rather than drain you. You don't need their approval. You never did. You just haven't fully believed that yet, but you're starting to. And that's everything. Thank you for tuning in. Stay blessed. God bless you always. Inner Echoes Collective.